Hello. I'm going to answer a couple questions and then dive into a little bit more of some stuff I see going on. So I just wanted to start with, I've had a question, a few people ask me, one more recent than the others, but they're asking me, with all this silver and gold, the physical stuff that we've been purchasing and buying to preserve our wealth, what are we going to do with that? What is the end game of that? What's going to be done with that? Are we going to hold it forever? Are we going to pass it down to our children, our grandchildren, whatever the case may be, keep it in the family? Are we going to sell it sometime? Are we going to try to sell it all, sell part of it? All that kind of stuff has been asked. So I just want to go over a few things of, I guess, the plan, if there is a definite plan, I don't know, but the plan as of now, what probably will happen is, I know silver is still on a rise, so is gold tremendously. I believe the last time I checked, gold was bouncing around $2,000 an ounce. Silver is 24 something, almost $25 an ounce. So with that being said, it's gone up tremendously since we started purchasing this stuff years ago. So it will hit it. Well, there's a couple things. Either it's going to hit a number that we are like, okay, this is it. Whether that's $35, $45, $60, $80, whatever that number is, that we're like, okay, at this number, we're going to take a quarter of that out, or take half out, and put it into fiat currency, so that we can purchase something that we've been wanting to for an asset, whether that's something for a home, whether that's land. Whatever that case may be, or if a circumstance comes up and we're like, we need the money and we need to get it now because we need to pay for an unforeseen emergency, an unforeseen medical thing, an unforeseen something, someone we know needs a medical thing, someone in the family, something. We need to come up with money fast. We have some cash, but we don't have enough. Then we would take whatever we need of the silver and or gold, whatever it is, sell it, get it to a dealer the best we can to get into fiat to get what we need to do for an emergency situation. So whether that's selling 3 ounces of silver, selling 400 ounces, or excuse me, 3 ounces of gold, 400 ounces of silver, whatever. I'm just throwing these numbers on, whatever that may be, 100 ounces of silver, whatever we would do at that time. But we also have, there's a number we have, and once it hits there, we're going to sell a percentage to get what we have been hoping for, been looking for, been watching, land or a house or rental properties or wherever the case may be. That's our plan for that. I guess if things keep going crazy like they are, there's always a possibility of there being a cashless society. It's absolutely going to be that, but there being a cashless society that's not working, that people have refused to participate in. They're refusing to do whatever the government's deeming fit to exchange, to get around, to trade. So then there's barterability. Excuse me. So that's swapping for things. That's exchanging for things. So what can you do with that? Well, you definitely can use silver to trade, to barter with. Gold the same for larger items. So that's a possibility too. That's why we have a bunch of 90% silver. I know I've had a video went over this before, which is any U.S. coinage from 1964 or older, for the most part, except nickels and pennies, I have 90% silver content in them. So that's another reason we're keeping a bunch of 90% silver in old coinage. And then we have a bunch of the 99.999% silver, 9939 silver, 49 silver, whatever we call it, of troy ounces of silver, 10 ounce bars, whatever, however it comes. People have 100 ounce bars. I mean, there's kilo bars. There's a bunch of stuff out there. So that's the reason I have that stuff, for larger purchases. So with that being said, if there comes a time where you need the money and you need it fast, or we do, and there's not dealers out there at the time, they don't have the the currency on hand. They don't have the ability to get it, to turn around and do it right now, like later today or tomorrow. If you need it now, there's always the option of metal scrappers. Metal scrappers, you can always sell that for the scrap price, which is basically what the silver price is. So silver's $20 an ounce. That's basically what you're going to get from the scrapper. If you're buying American Eagles or some other kind of collectible silver, there'll be more of a premium on top of that. But if you need to get it and there's no dealers around or there's no one that you can trust, you can always bring it to a scrap yard and scrap it and get it for mill price, whether that's gold, silver, whatever. So that's always an option. That's always there. You can always find a way to get what you need right away for that stuff. There's also pawn shops. Pawn shops offer you quite a bit less, from my experience anyways, than what you would get from a dealer, a precious metals dealer, or even a scrap yard, for the most part. So I just want to tell you that's what we've been doing. So we have a number, and when that time comes, that's when we won't pull it all, but we'll pull some. So that's what we think about. And also, it's always nice to think about if there comes a time where this turns into a barter atmosphere or whatever, and we don't have gold and silver because we started doing this years ago, but let's say 15 years ago, we didn't have any gold or silver. What do you do? I mean, look around. We look around our house. We look around what we have. Well, now we have the ability to get to the silver and the gold, the physical stuff that we have for trade, for exchange, for instant way to get fiat currency out of it, instant way to get whatever kind of money we need to purchase what we need at hand. Before that, we think about that. Look around, there was nothing really. I mean, we had movies, we had some stuff we bought, we had stereos, we had iPod, we had Jeepers, bikes. What else do we have? We just had a bunch of appliances, maybe some tools out in the shop. We had some other stuff, but we really didn't have anything that held value, and that held value that people would want. So if you think about it, if there's you're like, I need to do a fire sale. I need to sell everything right now to get out because I need to get money. Think about, what do you have right now? What do you have that you can do that with? Well, that thing that you bought for X amount of dollars, you go to sell it, it's not worth X amount of dollars. It's going to be worth a lot less. And you got to sell it to someone, which is going to make it more problematic because you're going to have to talk them into it or have them want that thing. I mean, it could be anything. If you're really into collecting whatever, horse memorabilia or fish memorabilia or hunting stuff, that has a value to you, your wife, your children maybe even. But if it comes down to it, and that's what all your money's been put into, come the time you need a fire sale, you need to get cash fast. You need to get access to something that you need to come into some money with for some reason, emergency situation or whatever it may be. That's going to be problematic versus if you have assets like precious metals, gold, silver, stuff like that. It makes it a lot easier for barterability, a lot easier to get access to that fast. So that's what we thought about, and once we've started doing this stuff, it makes things a lot easier. It takes some stress off that we weren't really sure, we really didn't know was there until you start thinking about that kind of stuff. So on another note, I just want to say, I know the US dollar has lost like 10% purchasing power over the last few weeks. So basically that means if $1,000, if you have $1,000 right now, that $1,000 has $900 worth of purchasing power. Same goes for $100. That $100 bill has $90 worth of purchase power. That's it. Versus what it had a couple weeks ago because of inflation, because of all this printing they're doing, all this quantitative easing they're doing, all this digit creation they're doing. it's counterfeiting, basically, is what it is. They're just making stuff you and I hold, the population holds, worth that much less purchasing power. So it's something to think about. I also had just a couple things to show on that note, just real quick. I just thought this was really cool. Just a quick sort of visual of how much it took in gold to buy in 1971 versus 2009, how much it took, and then how much money, dollars, currency it was. That's the difference. The dollar is losing purchasing power tremendously. Gold is not. If you want to look at it compared to a fiat currency, the dollar, gold is gaining. But really, it's the fiat currency that's losing big time. So I thought that was a nice little visual, and this also is a little visual. This is gold versus the US dollar, how much value they had over the years. They were pretty comparable back over here when we were on the gold standard or some form of it. And then as we lost that, you can see the huge gap, huge divide here. And it's not going to get any better. It's not going to get any closer unless for some reason they decide to go back on some sort of gold standard, some sort of thing to get out of the fiat currency realm only, like they're in right now. So this is a chart I thought was relevant, and this is that visual again that I think is was pretty cool. That puts images in people's head and says, "Oh, yes, that makes sense to me." But anyways, think about that. I had those questions. I just wanted to answer that a little bit. I know they're printing, and they're going to continue to print. They're going to continue to counterfeit, quantitative ease, whatever you want to call it. And that's just going to make what money you and I have in the banks, 401ks, IRAs, in your wallets worth that much less. It's happening. You can tell over the last few weeks, like I said, US dollars dropped 10% in purchasing power. It's not going to get any better. It's just going to get a lot worse. And if the jump of 10% was over the last few weeks, couple weeks, that's a lot in a small amount of time. That doesn't mean it's getting better. That means, my opinion, hyperinflation, it's possibly the beginning, the start of hyperinflation. So, as always, it's about assets. It's about getting out of the dollar the best you can. My fear is there's going to be some sort of lockdown, shutdown for the financial system, whether that means they're freezing credit cards, bank accounts, whatever. I know stuff has been done like this in other countries, but with all the stuff going on now, that would not surprise me. So just be aware, if you have some cash to keep at home, just to buy what you need, food, water, shelter, that kind of stuff, any emergency kind of hospitalization stuff, just think about that. Always stay vigilant. Protect your health and protect your wealth. Thank you for watching.